want to do the tier list. Gamers, today we're going to be doing a tier list, and today I'm going to be accompanied by chat. Honestly, it's not going to be too hard to parse this format down, at least for the top end. Maybe for like the tier 2, tier 3 rogue, it might be a little bit harder to figure out what is what. Let's get into it. When I do tier lists, I like to do the best decks first. So yes, I think Mathmech and Pearly are definitely the best decks in the game. I'd say these are like pretty interchangeable personally. Like, I don't know if people in chat agree with that, but personally, I think like the one thing that keeps Mathmech above Pearly for me is that this deck is super like piss easy to play. Like, this deck is like insane and super easy. Whereas like Pearly, while it's not like the hardest deck on the planet to play or anything, it's gotta like, you gotta play pretty damn quickly because there's a lot of clicking to do when you're playing this deck. And it is like generally a bit more skillful of a deck, I would say, than Mathmech. So because of the player base of MASTERDUEL, I feel a bit more comfortable putting this deck slightly above Pearly. So Labyrinth, I'm not sure if I think Labyrinth is tier 1 right now. Lab definitely tier 1, most annoying deck to play right now. It's super annoying to play against Labyrinth. You would put it top of tier 2? See, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking instead of putting Lab at the like bottom of tier 1, I think it is just like the best of tier 2. No, but I agree with you on nicknames. I was just waiting for someone else to co-sign my opinion, honestly. I also think that it's top of tier 2 personally. I just don't think it's like quite on the level of the shit Mathmech or Pearly's doing. And it does like just hard lose to Ash sometimes, right? But it is a trap deck that can go second pretty well. Let's not sleep on that. It is super insane. I'm not saying it's not good or not amazing. I don't think it's easy to get to Master 1 with any deck right now because it's super, super sacky of a format. But it's definitely easier than most decks with Labyrinth. I would put Labyrinth here. I think it's super solid. Obviously a great option if you want to play Labyrinth. I think Dragon Link is right under Labyrinth. It's right here. Like, I think Labyrinth and Dragon Link are both top of tier 2. And these are almost interchangeable for me too. The thing about Dragon Link is like, it really just clears Mathmech, and that's what's making it so good right now. Just the fact that it clears Mathmech by having a bunch of Beast Chills is just so good in the current format. Labyrinth has maybe a better spread than Dragon Link, I guess is what I would say. Or maybe it's just more represented, and that's why I have the feeling that it's a bit higher. But they're pretty interchangeable. No, Dragon Link is not tier 1. Dragon Link is really good. It's not tier 1 though. The difference between this and this is so minimal. Like, I don't really care which one you want to put in front of who. But they're both really, really good options. Dealing players also never read the opponent's cards, so they lose more. Yeah, well, they don't have time to read the opponent's cards. That's the thing about Labyrinth players. They always play slow because they have plenty of time to just read your cards, you know? Next up, let's do... Okay, this one, I genuinely... This one is like a little bit weird, maybe. I don't know if people are going to really agree with this. Naturia Runic. Naturia Runic, I think, is like... It's not like Rogue. Like, it's better than Rogue. But I think it might be just like top of tier 3. The reason for that, I mean, it's not on the list yet, but I think Kashtira is like, just the fact that it exists makes you not want to play this shit, right? Even though it's like, when it pops off, it's crazy. Just the fact that Kashtira exists. Also, Mathmech has a good matchup into Runic. So I'm thinking top of tier 3 for Naturia Runic. As crazy as this deck can be, it just doesn't feel really good to play right now, in my opinion. Also, there's some D-shifters going around from people that play Vanquish Soul, and Vanquish Soul is actually somewhat popular right now. And D-shifter is just the worst thing you can see when you're playing Naturia Runic. So even though this deck technically is nuts, I don't think it's much more than top of tier 3. Seems like most people don't think this is crazy, I guess. Fair enough. Next up, let's do Dinos. I think Dinos are rogue because they can brick a lot. When they pop off, they go crazy. They can set up any board you really want to build in Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's not really a question of your ceiling, it's more a question of your consistency. Your consistency is not great. I'm saying rogue for Dinos. That's all there is to it. Heroes are still rogue. If you want consistency, play Nordics. Nordics are very consistent. That's true. Next up, let's do Makonko. I think Makonko is tier 2, solidly tier 2 under these two here. I think Makonko is your best going second option, mostly because the Lava Golem is good against both of these decks. So Lava Golem is really good in general, and the fact that Makonko doesn't need their normal summon makes them, I think, the best going second deck in the game right now. So I'm saying Makonko tier 2 right under these two right here. Yeah, right. I think everyone agrees with that. Makonko is definitely tier 2. We don't need to really expand on this. They summon the Golem, and then they fucking just kill you. That's all there is to it. They kill you after. So, yeah, that's all there is to it for that one. Kashtira. Kashtira, I think, is Not nearly as good anymore. If Kashtira was good, if it was good, this deck would not be here. It just wouldn't. These two cannot coexist, really. If this deck exists, that means this one is not doing much. You know what I mean? I'm thinking bottom of tier 2, honestly, for Kashtira. You guys are saying tier 3. You guys can't sleep on how much Arise... Like, Arise Heart is still a crazy card. I'm thinking bottom of tier 2. I think it's better than Naturia Runic. It literally beats Naturia Runic, like, solos it. Yeah, oh my... People are really not sure about this one. A lot of people saying tier 3. A lot of people saying tier 2. A lot of people saying tier 4, which is Rogue. I think bottom of tier 2 is fair. Keep in mind... Kashtira is not just pure Kashtira, okay? The thing about this deck is a lot of variants of Kashtira are still really strong. So if you're just thinking about like the most basic Kashtira deck, you might be like, nah, this deck fucking sucks. But you have to think like there's a lot of like actually really solid variants such as Cash Punk. Cash Tearlaments is actually quite good and pretty like actually like a good deck. Like a lot of gas and does some crazy stuff. So next up here, speaking of Scareclaw, we're going to do Scareclaw Cash. I think Scareclaw Cash is the second best going second deck under Mikanko, obviously. The reason for that is because we can't run the Lava Golem. We have to run Kaijus in Scareclaw Cash because we need a normal summon. Also, Math Mech, pretty damn good against Scareclaw. Just because they just need to get rid of your normal summon, and then if you don't have access to your Scareclaw Kashtira, like the monster, not the name of the deck, you literally can't keep playing. Well, you can't go into your link plays, and if you do get access to it, well, they might just have their Omni Negate from Super Factorial, so it's really hard to play into Math Mech with Scareclaw if you don't have exactly the right outs, which like you're running a lot of outs. So it's not like never gonna happen or anything like that. Like you're still gonna probably have like a pretty decent time climbing. Second best going second deck, I would say. What about 8-axis / Numeron? Not relevant. Neither of those are really relevant. Speaking of tier, can you rank tier next? Oh, I didn't put tier on the list. I'm including tier. I'm just gonna clarify this right now for people that are asking me to put tier limit on the list. I'm including tier limits in Kashtira because Kashtira tier limits is the only variant of tier limits I'm seeing ever. Tier is dead? No, but tier as an engine is really solid. Tier is a really good engine. Okay, for pendulums, you guys want to see some pendulums? We got Valance. I'm gonna put them in tier 3 because I don't see them anymore, but they used to be quite good, and I don't really see what they lost. It don't seem like they lost anything. They were popular for a bit, and people kind of just stopped playing them. I mean, if you're still doing like your little stun board with Fossil Dyna, you should be winning the game going first, and going second, you're probably losing just like you were losing a format or two ago. So I would say definitely better than the Rogue decks for Valance, but you know, just not seeing it much. Oh yeah, let's put ninjas. Ninjas are untested abilities. Just kidding, they're tier 1. Just kidding, they're tier 2. Just kidding, they're actually Rogue. I think they're worse than Dinos right now. If they go first, they're decent. It's just like, at least the other Rogue decks can go second. Ninjas can't. Other than just drawing the outs. And against Math Mech, there's not that many outs because they just have a bunch of shit. The best ninja card is Kashtira Fenrir. I think that says enough. All right, yeah, so we're going to leave Ninja at the bottom of Rogue right now. I still think it's playable. Vanquish Soul is on here somewhere, right? Well, let's pull out the mommy or the cat girl. Yeah, so Vanquish Soul is better than Scareclaw Kashtira. It's a good deck. Very good deck. It's tier 2. And people that want to pretend that this deck is mid or shitty because it's not the 2 best decks in the game by far, it's not shitty. It's a really good deck. It generates a lot of advantage. It has a good grind game. It has a really strong interruptions. It plays well into Maxi. It's a good deck. Vanquish Soul is super solid. I'm putting it like smack dab in the middle of tier 2. I think it's good, easy to pick up, fun. It's got a high skill ceiling, so as you play it, you're going to learn to get better and better with it. Of course, without Raisin, you might be struggling more, but it's not true that you have no plays without Raisin. That's just not true. It's very hand dependent. How dare you put it above Cash Claw? Vanquish Soul is awesome, man. It's awesome. You underestimated Vanquish Soul and got smoked. That happens to a lot of people because people pretend and make videos saying this deck is not good, and they're wrong. The deck is really good. It's great. I don't want to talk about these too long, but I think Trap Tricks is like tier 3 under Naturia Runic. Maybe even above, but I'm going to put them under because I just don't want to give them that kind of credit. Is Spright Rogue now? Spright. Actually, yeah, let's do Spright. That's a good point. Let's do Spright. Oh my god. Spright has to be better than Nichirio Runic, right? It has to be. Going first, they're crazy, obviously. They can still do crazy stuff. They have insane consistency still. Thanks to their extra deck just getting their shit out of the main deck easily and being very generic to go into. Going second, you just lose. I think they're worse than Nichirio Runic, but better than Traptrix. I think Spright is tier 3 at this point. Spright for higher might be the best version. Yeah, but yeah, fuck, nah, whatever. That you convinced me even more. Once you said Spright for higher, you convinced me even more. This deck is definitely not better than tier 3. Branded Despia, I think, went up, actually. I think it went back up to tier 2. I've been seeing a lot of people play piles of Branded Despia that have a fuck ton of gas, and they're just like really hard to stop. Like, they just keep going, you know? So, honestly think Branded Despia is like better than Kashtira. I think I would put Branded Despia right here. Like, it's just like I've just been seeing it a lot, and it's been kind of hard to contend with. Not unbeatable, but I think it's definitely a tier 2 deck on the lower end of tier 2. I think it's really solid, really, really good. Let's do Floowandereeze. Where do we put Floowandereeze? Shifter is a good card. Yeah, I think it's like slightly better than Rogue. I agree. I think bottom of tier 3 is good. I agree. Yeah, we'll do bottom of tier 3 for Floowandereeze. I had to really beat myself over the head to even figure this one out because we don't see it a lot anymore. It's not a super consistent deck. It can be quite bricky, but D-Shifter shits on the 2 best decks in the game. So you can't put that in Rogue, right? It's still like not the best. I think bottom of tier 3 is fair for Flu. I don't want to get into it too much. Nouvelle, Hungry Burger deck. Anybody? Hungry Burger, I think. I think it's better than Dinos and Ninja. Hungry Burger is crazy. Okay, it's Rogue, but man, it's not as bad as people say, bro. You can set up 7 negates, 10 interruptions, bro. You just gotta get better at the deck, man. You just gotta get good. Yo, nah, this deck is crazy. It sucks, but it's actually really good. So we're gonna put it just right under Hero. I think it's like this. Yeah, right under Hero. It's definitely not as good as Hero, but it's better than Dinos because it's less bricky, and it's better than Ninjas also because it's less bricky. So I think that's fair. It's also a bit better going second than Ninjas. So yeah. Burger deck going into Rogue. Next up, people were talking about Sword Soul being unplayable. It's not unplayable. That's not true. Sword Soul probably right at, like in tier 3, like right above Traptrix, I would say. Yeah, tier 3, you know, under Spright. Still playable. Not bad. It's Sword Soul. Just see the line. You know, if you see the line, oh wow. Oh, by the way, shout out to everyone in the comments. They're gonna be like, Sword Soul is not tier 3, bro. You just suck at Sword Soul and you don't see the line, but it's actually like at least mid of tier 2, bro. Shout out to those people. Yeah, Sword Soul, exactly. It has good consistency. It's just a good deck. It's definitely better than Traptrix. I would honestly, like, I'm like kind of inching towards better than Spright. But I don't know. I don't want to go that far yet. I'd rather let the YouTube comments do their thing and just tell me about how wrong I am on Sword Soul again. Do we even discuss Exos? They did get the Sakitama stuff worse than Traptrix. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure about better than Traptrix. I'm thinking, yeah, tier 3. I definitely think it's the better deck if we're talking about running D-Shifter. Flu is good, but I think Exo Sister as a deck that can run D-Shifter is definitely better than Floowandereeze. Just because it can go for game pretty well. You can run like a dedicated going second Exo Sister build, and that's not a bad way to play the deck. Obviously, you can't Lava Golem. You do sometimes need your normal summon, so you don't really want to run Golem. I think middle of tier 3 is pretty fair for Exo Sister. I think that's not too bad. Better than Fossil Dynapass. Yeah, like... Going first, obviously, this deck is better, but Exo can kind of go first or second and do pretty well. Haven't seen Exo on ladder. I've seen it somewhat recently, not like this week, but I've seen it pretty recently. And they did get the Spirit stuff, which helps them a bit. So we'll say middle of tier 3, I think is fair. Wait, let's just play it straight, okay, chat? Okay, Rika Sun Avalon. Yeah, like Rika Sun Avalon used to be really good. I definitely think this is like a really solid deck, but I don't know. It's a little bit weird right now. Yeah, you know, as much as it's good going first, I think going second, it just really can't keep up. Honestly, it's so bad I go in second. I think I would even put it under Floowandereeze right here at Rogue. Moving on to Punk. I guess Punk. by definition is just better than Cash because Punk Cash is better than Cash. So I'll put Punk right above Kashtira in tier 2. I think that's fair. A lot of people want to see where I put tier limits. I don't even know where to put them because they're just an engine. I don't even think we're going to do tier limits, honestly. That's going to be the list. We're not even going to put tier limits on the list yet again. Ignoring tier limits. Just an engine anyway, not even a real deck. But I think this is a good list, right? I don't think anyone could disagree with anything on this list. I think everything is exactly, exactly where it should be. So yeah, I can't wait for people on YouTube to just agree with everything on here. Thanks everyone in the chat for helping me out too, because I definitely could not have made a list this good without you guys. This is like actually the most perfect list we've made so far. Give yourselves a little pat on the back, guys. Very good. Very good. Oh, Spiral. Nah, we ain't putting Spiral on the fucking list. Fuck that. I think it's Rogue. Yo, that'd be hilarious. Yo, we could play it straight though. We could actually play it straight and just let the YouTube algorithm do its thing. You guys want to do that?